and welcome to the second edition of the 2016 Next Generation podcast brought to you by nextgen.proboards.com. I am Pat, aka the Shadow Man, and I'm joined here with, of course, Jay and
Sean,
Sean.
the God mode one.
That's what I was trying to say. God mode Sean. Thank you, Sean. Okay, I guess so we're talking about movies and game stuff as per usual.
The first topic that I've chosen was the new Conjuring 2 trailer that dropped recently. What do you guys make of that?
So I literally just watched it, and I felt like there was supposed to be more jump scares in the trailer, and I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, very stereotypical, and I felt like it was just like any other...
You felt like it was like the same kind of trailer you would watch for any horror movie?
Tonight, I'm going to hopefully go see The Forest, right? The trailer instantly caught me, and I guess maybe one of the catches was it's set in a forest in Japan, and as you guys know, I'm kind of otaku and I like everything in Japan, right? It was just like, oh, it's in a house.
It's like a repetitive kind of thing where it's just, oh, someone's haunted. It's in a haunted house. There's always the same kind of backstory.
Crosses flip upside down, and you're like, oh, let's go stereotypical with this. Then the jump scare, and it's like...
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm not a big fan of horror movies. They just keep repeating themselves.
See it. I'm not necessarily going to go to the theater to see it, but I'll see it.
Same, man. I wouldn't pay money to go and watch that, because I know all these horror films, what would you say, like, a big hit, so to speak? Like,
I wouldn't necessarily say that. There's definitely ones out there that are big hits. Nothing that is going to rival, let's say The Force Awakens or Avatar, which we're going to talk about that later.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You've got... I mean, I would kind of consider Resident Evil a horror film, but then again, it wasn't a smash hit in the box office.
I actually like those movies. They're
awesome, but it wasn't a smash hit in the box office. Most of its money was made...
Worldwide.
And worldwide. Yeah, most of the money was made worldwide.
But if anyone knows me, I'm not a fan. I can't stand zombies. Not that they're scary, because they're effective. It's just I find the concept just...
Stupid,
yeah.
I actually like the concept of infected more, because if you think about it, this is the way I think about it, and I know we're going a little off topic here. The infected, you have... are you guys familiar with what hoof and mouth disease is, or mad cow disease is?
Yeah.
It actually literally makes the animals go mad, and they try to attack each other. Mutilated their brain to the point where it's like, to the point where it makes them attack people.
Have you ever seen, have you ever seen World War Z, or World War Z? With,
I think I watched it, but
with Brad Pitt?
I was too drunk to remember much of it.
That's a zombie film, Apocalypse, but one thing I really liked about that was actual zombies. You do not know normal zombie films. You see them all slow, like kind of dumb. Whereas in the World War Z, you see them like fast paced. They look more deadly. They look more fearsome. They look more serious. Not just like stupid.
So more like the Dawn of the Dead type.
Yeah, or even Shaun of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead had fast zombies, right?
I don't think I've seen Dawn of the Dead.
You probably need to see that if you were going to talk about zombie movies, because Dawn of the Dead and anything having to do with that is like... They're like the zombie movies that everybody really bases off. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, and right off the top of my head, it's not really coming to me. But
Evil Dead?
Evil Dead's more of a slapstick, because it started out serious. Evil Dead started out serious. When it got the cult following that it did, where everybody was laughing about the special effects and everything, Bruce Campbell and all of them, they made it into, Evil Dead 2 was pretty much the same movie as Evil Dead. It turned into slapstick, and Army of Darkness was the best one out of all of them. It was the prime movie out of all of them.
The Evil Dead, that's based off the game franchise, isn't it?
No, the game franchise is based off of Evil Dead.
But I remember watching a zombie film not so long ago. I think it was called Evil Dead.
Yeah, but that was just the remake, and it wasn't... They didn't have Ash in there, did they? Or...
I don't think so.
And Ash is the main character. Actually, they have Ash versus Evil Dead, right? Or there's like a newer one that's Ash versus whatever.
Ash versus Evil Dead, and that's a TV series.
Okay, so there's a TV series out there, which I definitely check out, because I'm huge on anything having to do with Bruce Campbell and Bruce Campbell's characters. He is awesome, and he's got lots of charisma.
Not to mention that chin.
He does have a pretty awesome chin.
So you have stuff like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, 28 Days Later.
Night of the Living Dead was the one I was thinking of. That's the zombie movie that people tend to really, really base a lot of their zombie stuff off of. I think, was it World War Z that was written by I think it was written by Mel Brooks' son Max Brooks.
Oh,
And
oh boy,
is that correct?
I don't know, but
Okay, well I think
but if it
I think
is,
that's the case. Max Brooks
Yeah,
he wrote it,
it was directed by Mark Foster.
but I think it was written. I think the book itself was written by
Oh, the
Max
book.
Brooks. I don't know. Do you guys ever watch Deadliest Warrior?
No.
I've heard
Have
of
you
it.
ever seen that show? Okay, so basically, Deadliest Warrior is the show where they take two warriors based on facts about the warriors. They put them head to head. Now, this is why this is relevant to this conversation. They actually did zombies versus vampires. Okay, all right. So there's no technical scientific facts behind them, right? But they did it in a way where it would make sense to be realistic. They didn't have vampires as this romantic ideal that people use for them, where they seduce people. They don't seduce people. What they do is they hunt for prey. Okay, and then the zombies themselves, they give them values based on the ideals behind, I guess, certain stories or whatever. And they used Max Brooks's zombies off of World War Z, and they used the vampires essentially from 30 Days of Night. They gave them values based on what they understood out from that, like their biting capacity, and you got to think about it. Zombies don't have any inhibitions. They're gonna put as much strength into something as possible. Zombies are a lot stronger than people give them credit for.
Of course.
I think
And
it's just
if
the
you
way
think
they've been
about
portrayed as on
it
TV.
would make sense, and it would make sense for them to run as fast as they can, possibly to the point where they destroy their body in doing so, because they want food, depending on how hungry they are, I guess.
I think in reality, if a zombie did exist in our world and you were to come face to face with one, you would be shit scared, wouldn't you? So
Right.
it's like
I did the first one. That was me. F-bomb.
when you see them on TV, you think, oh, they look stupid, and they try and make them out as to be some kind of a comedy act. Whereas in reality, it wouldn't be a funny thing. You'll be scared shitless.
Apparently, they've been doing version of it on The Walking Dead.
Yeah, but with The Walking Dead, they're very lowly, I guess, and they just kind of walk, and that's it. They're literally walkers.
But if you compare them to the World War Z starring Brad Pitt, those zombies, you'd be like, is that of another world?
They're balls to the wall. They're coming at you. They're in your face.
They are fast, and they'll break through anything.
With The Walking Dead, it's a lot more focusing on the drama between the characters so much, basically because they're in this world. Well, with World War Z, it's the characters trying to survive this zombie onslaught, and they're not it's not that they're not doing that in The Walking Dead. It's just that they don't have to worry so much about the walkers as much as say Brad Pitt's character does. More balls to the wall.
So back onto the actual topic in hand, The Conjuring 2. Patrick, what did you make of it?
I didn't bother watching the trailer, to be honest, because I knew it was going to be a cliche after cliche.
I didn't bother doing my homework tonight, so that's what Patrick just said.
The director of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice was recently asked if Wonder Woman would have more than a cameo appearance in the film. Zack Snyder said, "No, she has a cameo in this movie. No, actually, it's bigger than a cameo. She comes in and does something."
So to me, what this means is says it all in the trailer itself. Spoiler alert for those who have not seen the trailer. Basically, she comes in and blocks a blast from Doomsday, and I mean that's a big deal because all of a sudden we're already seeing the main trio of the Justice League standing there together.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking as well. We saw it in the trailer. She comes in at the end to try and save Batman and Superman, which I have no idea why they showed in the trailer if that was the only part that she's going to be playing in the film.
There must be something more.
Because we have to remember, this film is called Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, and
Right.
therefore they're going to be bringing in all these other elements of characters from the actual Justice League. So Aquaman.
There's no doubt about it. You're at least going to see a lot of the major players in the Justice League.
Yeah, you're at least going to see Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and Aquaman.
But the only thing I'm worrying about is I'm hoping that they focus this film on actual Batman versus Superman rather than each different character having a certain time slot on the screen. Because you have to remember that this film is about Batman and Superman, not Batman and Superman and Aquaman and Cyborg and Flash, etc.
And hopefully they're gonna balance it out to where that still is the main focus. My one concern with it is they got Doomsday or whatever which is fine and dandy, but because they ultimately need a bad guy for them to have to team up, right?
And
So-
Lex Luger and Lex Luthor. Sorry, not
Lex
Luger.
Luger?
Luthor isn't
Well, you did want to
enough.
talk about wrestling, so
Yeah, well, I don't need to talk about that.
But one thing that that's in the back of my mind is this actually Doomsday or is this someone else?
It's Doomsday, but you might as well call him Doomzod. Spoiler.
But everybody is claiming that it is Doomsday, but it doesn't look anything like Doomsday. And secondly,
it kind of looked like him.
it kind of
Oh, it
looks.
did.
It kind of does look like him, but
I wish they would have made him more spiky if it is him.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was someone else that you know.
Maybe it's like a Doomsday prototype.
Could be.
Possibly.
There is also Apocalypse, isn't there, in the DC world?
You mean
Well-
Darkseid?
Darkseid, sorry. Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
Darkseid.
Darkseid.
That
could
is
be,
not dark. That is
Marvel.
not Darkseid. That is not Darkseid.
Jay's gonna
I've-
piss off a bunch of people by saying that.
That is not Darkseid. I'll tell you this right now. Number one,
Yeah.
if they actually stick to canon, which I hope they do for the most part, Darkseid is the evil ruler of Apocalypse. That's where you got the confusion from.
But it's
Number
spelled
two-
differently.
Number two, I did see the second trailer when I went to, the trailer that spoiled a lot of
Yeah.
crap for everyone.
Yeah.
They do have Luthor basically saying he's gonna create a weapon to use against Superman. Then it cuts to opening up a body bag of Zod, and then it cuts to Doomsday sliding down
A building.
a building. It's Doomsday or Doomzod.
Okay.
What if they filmed a lot of stuff just to throw us off, like the Force Awakens?
That's what I'm trying to
That's true.
say. That is what I'm trying to say. What if they throw us off and it's someone that we don't expect it to be? Maybe a new character?
I highly doubt they're gonna do that. When it comes to DC movies, unless if it's like purely Batman, which this one isn't, by the way, they're kind of stupid.
I mean, I wouldn't mind them throwing us off because that trailer did spoil a lot of things for not just me but for everyone else. So if they did throw us off and put someone else in there and a brand new character, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Well, me neither, but I'm saying it's highly unlikely.
But when we talk about Wonder Woman, I don't know if she'll have a bigger role. The actual scene that we saw in the last part of the trailer. So when she comes in, she helps Batman out with that shield.
Oh God, no! I was just thinking of something. What if they decide to actually do the one thing that the Justice League cartoons never capitalized on? The Batman Wonder Woman romance.
I think that's actually what they're hinting at. If you see it at the beginning of the trailer when Bruce Wayne gets out the car at that function,
Yeah.
and then you see in the first trailer, you see Wonder Woman getting out the car and when she looks back at Bruce Wayne. It's kind of like showing some kind of romance between them two characters.
Yeah, that's true.
So they possibly are going down that line.
Well, if that's the case, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause it can't be Superman.
It would.
Because Superman's already
Yeah,
got...
because I mean,
yeah, sorry, go on, Sean.
at least for now. I mean, like, but I think if I remember in the comics, he had something going on, like he inadvertently had something going on with Wonder Woman even while he was with Lois.
Yeah, there was... I do remember something...
The Boy Scout went bad.
Yeah, that's New 52 though.
I guess.
I
so,
wouldn't,
yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to both ideas, so...
I like the idea of Batman, Wonder Woman. Oh God, here we go. We're discussing couples. You want to know why? Because Batman deserves a happy ending, and with Wonder Woman, he does not have to worry for her safety as much as anyone else who would be involved.
Yeah.
Don't be such a noob. Batman with happy endings. Batman doesn't
I
get
said-
happy endings. bro.
I said one could
He's not
hope.
gonna get one. He's not gonna get a happy ending. He never will.
Well, unless he blows himself up and goes into hiding.
Like he always does. Eventually he does.
What? Have a happy ending, or blow himself up?
I was referring to what Patrick said, goes into hiding.
You've
Well,
never
yeah.
seen the Dark.
I mean, what
Like-
I really want to see is, are you guys familiar with the battle for the mantle? Everybody thinks Bruce Wayne is dead. All the Robins, all the former Robins. You've got freaking Red Hood who just takes the mantle, right? And he starts killing people.
And then
with guns.
Nightwing takes it.
No, Nightwing doesn't take it until later. When Tim Drake, which is Red Robin, when he decides to take it, he couldn't get Dick Grayson to take it, which is Nightwing. For those that don't know, if you don't know,
Which everyone does.
You should play Batman Arkham Knight.
you're killing me here. You're trying to derail me, Jay.
No, I'm about the character.
So you have Tim Drake take over the mantle because he hears about the Batman mantle that's running around killing everybody. So it's cool because the dynamic of it is that each suit that they all take is a different suit, right? So Red Hood has a more like a darker suit where it's like I guess armor looking, and he runs around with guns. And then you got Tim Drake who has like the old school gray and blue Batman suit. And then when finally Dick Grayson decides to take on the mantle, which he actually takes on the mantle for a little while, that's where Damian Wayne comes in. And then that's when Red Robin becomes introduced. Well, or he starts becoming Red Robin by himself. Tim Drake does.
Is this all new? Is this a new storyline that they've
brought?
Oh,
no. This is pretty old stuff.
Because I've
been around for a few years now.
All right, I need to check that out because I don't think I've seen that.
It's all comic book stuff.
Eventually, the original one comes back, but he
Yes.
goes out on a world tour to establish Batman Incorporated,
I believe that's right.
which basically means he trains other people to become Batman.
Like
To take over
Batman
his-
of Japan,
Yes,
who looks like what you think a Japanese Batman should look like.
yes. There's probably a Russian Batman too. Not that there's anything wrong with Russia these days.
Everybody thinks he's delusional because he's the one who goes out and tries to find Bruce Wayne because he really thinks Bruce Wayne's still alive. Everybody thinks he's legit dead.
And
everybody's like, dude, Tim, you need to get yourself checked out. Everybody thinks he's screwed up in the head, and they're like, dude, you just need to let it go and just do your thing. Because Red Robin's like, he becomes a big deal. Like, Red Robin, he's like a street level hero, but legit a badass.
Quite possibly one of the best characters. I mean, it's just like he's essentially what Batman is without the tragedy.
Tim Drake. Actually, he did have tragedy after.
Yeah, but I meant like he didn't start with it.
So are you guys familiar with the new Joker played by Jared Leto?
I've only seen
yes,
pieces of it. I'm actually looking forward to Suicide Squad.
Well, a lot of people are claiming that this new Joker isn't actually the previous Joker played by
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. No, because Heath Ledger was actually the Joker. But whereas this incarnation of the Joker is actually going to... A lot of people are claiming to be Robin.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd, yeah, that's the one. But a lot of people are claiming that this is actually Jason Todd, so Robin turned bad into a Joker.
The only reason why they're saying that is because of the fact
tattoos.
that number one, it goes back to Dawn of Justice, where we see a suit of Batman's being spray painted with, like, jokes on you, jokes on you.
Yes.
And number two, and this is where it comes from why people are saying it's Jason Todd. Jason Todd, after his resurrection, is Red Hood. Guess who was Red Hood before? The Joker.
Spoiler alert.
It's not that big a spoiler at this point. And going by what you said before about how not Heath Ledger, well, no shit, it's a new universe. We don't consider Jack Nicholson to be the same Joker as Heath Ledger's, because
this isn't Christopher Nolan's Batman.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. This is
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Because we're talking about
Ben Affleck whooping ass as Batman.
He can play a decent Bruce Wayne. I'll give him that. But as Batman, I can't see it so much.
Dude. All right, let me tell everybody. Okay, here. First of all, before we get into any more discussion about whether or not he's going to be a good Batman, you have to look at is the hardest character to play as far as the Batman goes is not Batman.
It's Bruce Wayne.
It's Bruce Wayne. Excuse me. Christian Bale nailed Bruce Wayne, but he had that stupid gravelly voice that he kept doing, and I can understand it for doing it in the first movie. He's trying to find his footing. But when you keep doing it, then it just doesn't make any sense, because Batman usually just speaks in monotone. And then, of course, Bruce Wayne, he's very animated and very charismatic. I'm damn sure that Ben Affleck's going to nail the Bruce Wayne, as you said.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But I honestly think he's going to nail Batman too, because if you look at the way Ben Affleck's been doing movies for the past it's been about 10 years now since we've seen an actual flop with him in it. He's been getting awards like crazy. You know why? Because
he's improved.
He gets his hand in the writing now. It wasn't him, it was the writing.
So he's getting to produce he's getting to direct. Yeah. Sorry.
And
he's into directing and being in the writing, because he is sick and tired of being the one that gets the fall for it, i.e., as you said, Daredevil.
Sorry.
It was a terribly written movie.
Why the Star Wars prequel were as bad as they were? Because the writing was so bad by George Lucas.
George Lucas needs a shit filter. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and there's too many yes men on the set, so he had no filters.
And then Disney was like, okay, you can either do it our way, or you can get out of here.
Can I just mention how awesome is Ben Affleck's voice as the Batman.
I'd
have to watch it again.
Yeah,
wow.
I'd have to watch it again.
If you compare his voice to Christian Bale's voice as the Batman, you can see how much improved.
He didn't sound gravelly, if I remember correctly.
Oh, he had that gritty. He's got a gritty voice.
But it's not as gritty.
Should be gritty. It should be gritty, just not gravelly.
It is gritty.
But can we all agree who could play a very good Bruce Wayne in context, but absolutely sucked as Batman? And we all know who that was. George Clooney.
Oh.
Oh my God, bat nipples.
That started. If you want to be technical about that started in Batman Forever, so that's technically Val Kilmer.
There's still bat nipples.
So we all know the Star Wars The Force Awakens has officially now passed Avatar to become the #1 box office movie of all time. The film passed the $760 million mark domestically to break the record that James Cameron's Avatar has held on to for the last 6.5 years. Now breaking every record apart from the worldwide record still being held by Avatar. What do you guys make of Star Wars The Force Awakens officially breaking #1 box office movie of all time?
That's not the only record they're gonna break.
Sorry?
That's not the only record they're gonna break, and the worldwide isn't gonna be the only record they break either.
No, they've broken every other record apart from the worldwide record.
Yeah, they will. They'll break that, and they'll probably break some records in the Oscars too.
I mean, to me, it was no surprise. I mean, when they first announced that they were going to make a new Star Wars film, the buzz for that was just enormous. When they first revealed the first trailer, how many hits that got over a million? So just with those figures alone, you just knew that this movie was going to take its place all the way to #1. I knew that, even though I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan.
I knew it was going to happen as well. But unlike you, Jay, I wouldn't consider myself hardcore, but I'd probably consider myself a little bit more hardcore than you.
But I'm not actually a hardcore fan of Star Wars. I'm not a fanboy. I'm just a guy who likes sci-fi film.
Yeah, fair enough.
In our last episode of the podcast, I did find some parts of the movie boring, where I was actually yawning a few times. I thought that kind of dragged a little bit, and it was mostly when you saw the characters come face to face for the first time and getting introduced onto the screen as well. I thought it was just...
Okay. Jay, how many times have you seen that movie now? Because I originally thought of that when I first saw it, but I just saw it again last week and I was like, no, it's not as boring as I thought. The movie actually was a lot better. Then again, I saw it in IMAX.
Oh well, yeah. I've only seen it once, so I'm probably gonna wait till it comes out on DVD. I get what you're saying, because once you see a movie once, you have to see it again to truly appreciate the full thing.
Full scale of it.
The full scale of it, yeah. Because I said exactly the same thing with Avengers 2 coming out. I thought that it was slightly boring. It wasn't as good as the first Avengers. But when I watched it again, I was like, whoa! It changed my mind.
Let's not go back into that again, because then I'll go on my little tangent again.
But Patrick was just saying that the Star Wars movie was slightly boring at certain parts, and Patrick was saying that if he watched it again and he felt that the parts that he thought was boring wasn't actually boring. So I was just giving an example.
I think it's a matter of you just have to take what they give you, and what you may have thought was boring was actually something that was really developing the storyline. I felt like they did everything in there they did for a reason.
Yeah, and you'll see that in Star Wars, especially like...
We all agree that BB-8 was awesome. He was the comic relief, such as Jar Jar Binks, but done right.
Yes.
I know. I may receive some flack for this, but I think I didn't think I was gonna be liking BB-8 too much, because like it just seemed a little out of place for me. But now that I've seen it, I'd have to say BB-8's actually a better character than R2-D2, and I know I'm gonna receive flack for that.
I actually had that conversation with somebody about between R2-D2 and BB-8, and it's really, the way you think about it is BB-8's a more technologically advanced AI. Okay, R2-D2, he had personality, but he doesn't have the amount of personality that BB-8 does. And if you look at BB-8, if you look at the timeline between then and now, as far as Star Wars is concerned, it makes sense.
Yeah.
How long ago was R2-D2, incepted? How long ago was he created? Long time ago.
At least 50 to 60 years, if we're including how far back.
And let's think about it. If you look at the way we advance technology in the modern day, think about how quickly technology would probably advance in the future.
Exactly the same opinion. When I first saw they announced the BB-8, I was like, what the hell, come on, is this some kind of joke?
Oh my god, he was over everything. He was all over everything.
Everybody is like, what is this? And as soon as I saw him on screen, I was like, okay, I completely changed my mind, this is... I felt that they were replacing R2-D2 with the BB-8 character, because they didn't really show much of R2-D2 in the film.
But I think that's because they needed to establish another droid that... Because I have a feeling that R2-D2's... He's going to play a major role, and he did. He technically did play a major role.
For what it was worth.
Yeah. For his part, it was a major role, because...
But can I just remind everyone that, spoilers alert?
Yeah, you know what? Can we save the rest of this, of the Star Wars discussion for another time, so that way we're less likely to
doing a Star Wars themed one anyway, so we
yeah,
might as well...
I'm hoping...
That's what I mean. Is like, as I got many theories, well, a few theories based on what I've seen, because my mind, much like a lot of people, is just going way out there, and I want to share them with you guys and on this podcast, but I want to do it like on a special Star Wars themed one. So
we'll definitely get that sorted out.
Know that if they don't want spoilers, they don't need to listen to the show.
Yeah,
and that's probably the best bet.
Because we were talking about Star Wars breaking the
and honestly, I think if we do when we do that, it should be a little bit further out from the movie's release. Maybe even when it's been already out of theaters even.
So maybe in like a month or two.
It might still be in theaters by then.
No, we can make one now. If, say for example, we did one tomorrow, simply say at the beginning of the show that please do not watch this. It will have spoilers in it, so that way the audience can either bookmark it and put it to one side, or they can just go ahead and watch it, even though we have warned the audience that there is spoilers in this podcast.
So yeah, that aside, I mean, let's kind of move on to talk about the games now, right?
So we're going to move on to the games portion of the show. Now, we haven't actually got much gaming news for this past week, so we're kind of just going to be talking about our own favourite games and what games we're going to be playing in this year.
Yeah, you know what, I'll start off. I actually did have a list somewhere here, but as you guys probably guessed from like how much I was looking forward last week's podcast, I am a fan of Final Fantasy VII. It is definitely one of my favorite games. Probably my second favorite game, to be honest.
Patrick, is this for which console is this for? Then is it for?
This is the original one, but I am looking forward to the
PS4 version of it.
Yes.
Well, let me stop you guys there, I'm glad you asked that question, Jay, because this has to do with the remake. I had heard that it's supposed to go out for all consoles. And which kind of makes sense to me, because if you look at Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U, they actually added Cloud Strife to the mix.
Yeah. Thing is, it's going to be released first for the PlayStation 4.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I guess they'll refit it so that it fits the Wii U. My assumption is that they're going to, or maybe we'll see it on the NX or whatever. Because there are rumors flying around that the NX might end up showing up at the end of this year, which is the next Nintendo console for those who aren't familiar with the name NX.
Oh, so that's a new name for the Nintendo console?
It's supposed to be, and it's actually a pretty cool name.
This is all new to me, by the way.
Rumor is, this is all rumor and hearsay, they're actually supposed to try to compete with PlayStation and Xbox.
So they're actually taking the next step up to the PS4 and Xbox One stage.
Are they going to have the gamepad stuff there? Like, because I find it's necessary for some games. Like, for example, Super Mario Maker, it needs the gamepad.
Again, all hearsay. I do know that there is a quote. I just looked at it a couple days ago. There was a quote from one of the higher-ups in Nintendo that they were going to try some all-new stuff. I would assume we might be seeing them trying maybe some VR stuff or whatever. Let's just hope it's not like the Virtual Boy.
No.
I'm pretty sure they've learned. Besides, if we want to know about proper VR stuff, look, PS4 is developing something, I believe. Then again, we also
there's the Oculus Rift.
Exactly.
It's only $600. I thought it was going to be more expensive than that.
So yeah, my third favorite game is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Main reason being is because, well, it was the first Zelda game I ever played, and it was just an amazing game.
So what are you going to be playing this year?
What am I going to be playing this year?
That's the question that Jay wanted answered.
What I'm going to be playing, I've already actually started. I got 3 games I'm mainly working on right now. I'm working on Arkham Knight, because I bought it a little late on sale and stuff.
I still need to complete that game.
It is good.
It is really good. It's the best Batman game.
Considering it's the finale of the Arkham series, which is an amazing series, you know it's got to be good, and it is. I also have Star Wars Battlefront, speaking of which, if you guys got PS4, I know you do, Jay, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, I do have Battlefront.
Yeah, don't ask me any questions about PS4 because my PS4, as I said, it's a streaming box and I play Blu-rays on it. That's about it.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't have really any games for it.
And I also have WWE 2K16.
Good game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
How's the storyline? Did they fix the storyline crap? Or is it still typical 2K storyline?
Typical 2K stuff, but you got like more options career-wise. Like you can actually build a Hall of Fame career from the ground up.
Yeah, but what I want is an old school THQ style storyline.
Yeah,
you guys know what I mean by that?
Yeah, they abandoned that stuff in THQ stuff. So.
And the favorite one was Here Comes the Pain.
That was, at least for modern games, yes. My favorite, if we're gonna talk about my favorite wrestling video game of all time, I'm gonna have to bust out WWF No Mercy.
Oh, that was a good one.
It was amazing, and there were I created so many wrestlers, and it was just so much fun and so user friendly.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the wrestling part in this game is just like a lot more advanced than even previous ones. I mean, the main focus of it is basically on the wrestling part, more or less the reversals. Like it's very emphasized in this game.
Here's my problem with that. I mean, that's cool and everything, but wrestling video games have like ceased to become wrestling video games so much as they're wrestling simulators. I kind of have a little bit of a problem with that because I just want to have a quick pick me up and be like, okay, I'm gonna wrestle a couple matches. Well, in this one, I have to be able to reverse every 2 seconds in order to do anything, and it's crazy.
You got your pros and cons with it.
And like I'll have a match going my way, and then all of a sudden my opponent hits their finisher and it's over. And I'm like, that's the issue I had with 2K15 anyway. And I got rid of that for I traded that in to get my wife her Wii U. That was a contributor to that.
I'm also still working on like Super Mario Maker and Super Smash Bros. I gotta ask, Sean, do you have Super Mario Maker?
I don't.
You're missing out.
I'm too focused on Splatoon, bro.
On Splatoon and
I can't
Smash? Wait, not even Smash?
Not even Smash. I'm not focused on Smash. Well, sometimes my wife and I will get a wild hair up our ass and we'll be like, let's play some Smash. And then we go play it, and then we're like, okay, we're done for a few months, and then we'll go back to Splatoon.
Are you guys familiar with the title Stranger of Sword City?
What now?
It's an RPG title game.
And it's called what?
Stranger of Sword City.
I feel like I've heard the Sword Sea thing.
So it will arrive on Xbox One in March 2016, but the PC version has got an ESRB rating. Experience Inc. has already announced that their dungeon crawler RPG title Stranger of Sword City will be released for Xbox One in March 2016. Stranger of Sword City was announced for Xbox One at TGS 2015, but there was a rumour that the game might be released for PC, and now an ESRB rating backs up that rumour. In Stranger of Sword City, players will have to survive in this land where terrifying monsters live by making their way through several dungeons filled with dangerous booby traps. You will be able to choose from several classes including humans, elves and dwarves, and the game will also feature different art styles that will truly enhance your gameplay experience.
It sounds kind of cool, I guess. I feel like I'm just still waiting for Elder Scrolls to come out with their next game. Probably not. I probably won't play it. I mean, does anybody have an Xbox One here? I don't own one. I own
PS4, baby. PS4.
And I don't think Patrick has an Xbox One. We
Nope.
probably should get somebody that's an Xbox One representative in here.
Well, you know, like in the actual the group chat where I've got for Next Generation, a few of the guys do have Xbox Ones, because I remember from the previous podcast that we did back in 2014, they did speak about Xbox One title games. Because when we normally do the podcast, we we try and cover a wide range of different consoles, different movies. So we try and get a bit of different flavor from each different areas of both those genres.
I'm not shouldn't talk about X1. I'm just saying.
I'm just letting you guys know that we do. It's just that it's January, so we know that there's not many good titles out at the moment.
When my wife and I were talking about when I was talking about getting a PS4, and this was because of WWE 2K15, I was excited about that game. I asked her, I said, do you want an Xbox One or do you want a PS4? Because I found out that they didn't have the My Career mode in PS3 or Xbox 360, which I already said we have a 360. So she was like, I don't want an Xbox One. Like, right off the bat, she was just like, I don't want an Xbox One, PS4. So we ended up with a PS4, which I don't hardly use except for, as I said, streaming and stuff like that, which it's great for. I'm not going to lie, I don't really look into PS4 games very much either. Mainly, I'm always looking at Nintendo and being like, oh, what are you guys going to give me? What are you guys going to give me? New. And one thing that I'm excited about is in February, they're bringing out Red, Blue, and Yellow, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow on their virtual console, which you can download. I don't know if it's going to be on Wii U. I hope it is, because, as much as I like handheld games, I love my 3DS and everything. I haven't made that move up to new Nintendo 3DS, and I really want to do that. Mainly, I've been doing my gaming at home, so speaking of which, there needs to be more arcades out there. Am I right? Can I get a hooyah on that?
Hooyah. I think Patrick's... Is he still alive?
Yes, surprisingly.
He doesn't like arcades.
I don't mind arcades. You guys are... I just kind of got lost there for a second.
But, all that aside, I mean, like, there's a lot of cool stuff to look forward to this year. I can't say enough, I'm really looking forward to Zelda U.
So am I.
Game, I wish they would tell us more.
See, now I'm lost, because I don't really go into them kind of games.
Okay. Sean, I have to ask you, what would you say if they ever came out with, like, a steampunk Zelda game? Do you think that would work? And I'm not talking about that one that had the train tracks on. I'm talking about a full-scale Hyrule has gone steampunk type.
I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why, because...
Swords don't work in that kind of world.
Well, that and the fact that they've already built it around a certain world, and to go back now would probably piss a lot of people off. Even just something as small as changing the way Link looked, like Toon Link, pissed a lot of people off.
But they forgave them.
Oh, yeah, no, they definitely did. I mean, like, I can tell you right now, my wife loves Toon Link. She's easily the biggest Zelda fan in this household, no doubt. Like, and one of the biggest Zelda fans I know. Like, she loves Zelda games. She's pretty excited about the HD version of Twilight Princess coming out, which we're going to get that and I'll play it, because I haven't played Twilight Princess. And I actually cosplayed the Twilight Princess version of Link in the last con that I went to. So I kind of owe it to myself to do that, I think, just because I cosplayed the character, I probably should play the damn game, you know what I'm saying?
If they actually released Zelda and all these other Nintendo games for the PS4 and Xbox One, I think that would be crazy. Crazy good.
No.
Never will.
It will never. I know it won't happen, but, a girl can always dream, right?
Okay, so you were asking about Zelda U, and you didn't really know much about it. Well, no. Basically, it's going to be a free roam, kind of like the way Elder Scrolls is. You're going to be able to roam around the world. I mean, I wish I could throw some screen caps here. Have you seen the screen caps?
No.
I've seen some stuff. The graphic work looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they look gorgeous.
Have they changed the character from the previous Zelda games? Or is it the same character?
Same character, different incarnation.
So it's like a more older version.
What I meant to say was, when I say same character, different incarnation, it's like there are several different eras, and the hero is always Link. There's always Princess Zelda. Villain can be a little different. In the end, basically, their reincarnations keep appearing, and they have like and they look exactly the same. Pretty much are the exact same. There have been a few sequel games per se, like for example, Majora's Mask. That is a sequel to one. That is a direct sequel to one timeline in the of what happens at Ocarina of Time, because it's been confirmed that Ocarina of Time has spawns 3 different timelines right now.
Well, here's the only problem I have with Legend of Zelda, and I'm not necessarily an avid player of it, but I do know for a fact that a lot of the storylines don't actually connect to one another, and that's the continuity is kind of the issue I have with the franchise.
It's a multiverse franchise.
Pretty much. So you have to look at it like that. We'll be able to start fresh and start fitting things together.
Speaking of Zelda stuff, I have to ask, have you played Hyrule Warriors?
Yeah, I have actually.
That's pretty fun, and pretty much you're touching base with like all the timelines in there.
I guess so. I mean, my wife played it more than I did. My problem with Dynasty Warrior style games is it's a Dynasty Warrior style game. So I have a lot of fun with it for about 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Because I mean, it's the same stuff over and over again. I'm just slamming buttons in order to go. So, and there's the next F-bomb.
Number 2.
That's 3 for me.
Was it 3? You should probably do like a Nintendo Talk podcast as well.
I'd be down with that.
Because I know you guys are more into the Nintendo side of things, whereas I don't really know much about the Nintendo games
Anymore.
Anymore, because I don't keep up with them or play with them. That's an idea for you guys.
Yeah.
I don't mind hosting it and stuff and being in it just to talk about a few things that I might know, but.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't be as frequent as this podcast, as the Next Gen X podcast, but...
Yeah. This is like the main one.
Yeah, I mean, we could maybe do one like once a month or whatever.
Yeah, once every...
Or maybe after they do Nintendo Directs, which they should start to do this more often. For those that don't know, Nintendo Direct is almost kind of like a video cast that they do, and usually, they'll put it online, but they also put it on... they put it on their Nintendo shop, their Nintendo eShop, and you just go watch it and you find out what you're looking forward to in this next year or whatever. And that's where there was actually some recent Zelda U teaser trailers that came out, and they showed a little bit more of the game, which wasn't much, but it was enough to be like, oh, make us Wii U zombies be like, we need more, brains. It really just made us want it a little bit more, and which is unfortunate because we want Nintendo to give us more information. That's one issue Nintendo has, is they don't put out enough information in order to get people other than the already set fan base into the games. I think as far as Splatoon goes, one thing that Nintendo needs to do, with Splatoon, they had great output. They brought a lot of people into the fan base, but not beforehand. It was after already people were already playing the game, hearing about it. I can tell you right now, during the holiday season, they were actually having a lot of issues with connection problems, which they've, I think, since fixed, because it's a lot better now, because there was a massive influx of new people playing. What Nintendo needs to figure out is a better way to market. For the new Nintendo 3DS, almost nobody heard about it before it came out, and some people don't even know about it now. They don't know it exists. It should have been called something different.
I only know about it because you mentioned it in the last podcast.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's what the problem Nintendo was having, and everybody to begin with thought the Wii U was just a better version of the Wii, and it was pretty much the same thing, but it wasn't. It's a brand new console. That's something that Nintendo needs to learn, is that you can't keep naming things the same thing, but if you're going to, you need to make it blatantly obvious that it's a brand new system. Xbox doesn't have an issue with that. PlayStation doesn't have an issue with that. Nintendo seems to be the only one that doesn't get the point, And as a Nintendo fanboy, it frustrates me because I can't get more fan base into there because I don't want to see Nintendo go under.
See, that's one of the things that peeves me as well, because in my eyes, I'm a PS4 fanboy, so I know that PS1 at the top, then Xbox One, then Nintendo, and that's always, in my eyes, it's always been in that sequence, in that pattern. So someone who's a Nintendo fanboy is pissed off with that. Kind of pisses me off because I want Nintendo to be back on the same level like the Super Nintendo when it first came out, back in 1990s. Because now I see it all the way at the bottom.
There's a lot of games that are really cool. Like I'm gonna throw a name out there, Typo Man. I haven't played it, but it looks awesome.
But one of my main worries is, I think they should get rid of the motion sensor and go back to the original pad console.
I disagree. I love my gamepad, but what they need to do with the gamepad is they need to make it so you can use multiple gamepads instead of just one. Because I can tell you right now, I don't like being this player number 2 on Splatoon, because I'm so used to the motion controls that when I try to use the right analog stick to look around, I can't do that anymore, which is one of the issues I was having with Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm starting to learn it, but it's not as analog stick intensive as as Splatoon would be without the motion sensor. So I'm hoping they keep the motion controls, and whatever they're going to do with this next system, if they want to keep the screen on the gamepad, I'm cool with that. I'd like to see them make another innovative jump in technology that they seem to be always above Xbox and PlayStation on. Nintendo always is the innovator, and then it's PlayStation and Xbox that say, hey, we're going to steal that idea, but we're going to make it our own. That's what always happens.
With Nintendo, they're trying to think outside the box, so they're thinking too much outside the box, if you get what I mean. I mean, it's good to be innovative, but they get to a point where they're trying to do something different, I get that. That different isn't working with the majority of the gaming fans. It's only like a small fraction of those gaming fans that they get. Whereas PS4 and Xbox One, they're more wider and bigger to the rest of the audience. An ongoing battle between PS4 and Xbox One, but Nintendo is always behind, and that is my main issue with Nintendo. And
in the idea of parties, let's look at political parties, okay? Let's put it this way, and nobody look into the fact that I'm picking a certain party for one side. But let's say PlayStation 4 is the Democrats and Xbox One is the Republicans, and then you have you have the independents, which is Wii U and anybody else, right? We'd probably call Nintendo Wii U, that'd probably be the libertarians, where it's like it's definitely got a driving fan base. It's got numbers, like they sell games and they just take away from the other markets, but it doesn't have enough power to get in the office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Sense?
And to be the legit third party where it's like they're all even.
I get what you're saying, but to me it's just, if they got rid of the motion sensors, went back to the original pad.
All of them are motion sensor now.
With the PS4,
dropping motion controls would be a digressing of technology.
But that's only if you have the, like for the PS4, to use the motion part of the console, you need that bar thing, don't you, for the console?
No, I don't. I don't have mine set up.
For PS4?
For my Wii U, I don't have it set up.
I'm talking about PS4. You said that other consoles have it as well.
The Wii U does have various motion bars. Honestly, I don't know why they need them. That would be awesome if somebody on the boards could say something about that. I'll look that up. I'll take that as a lookup, and I'll figure that out why I actually need the motion bar. But I don't need it for using the gamepad at all. As far as I think the motion controls go, I think that's something a topic starter that we could put on the boards. Maybe put like a little poll on there and find out if people like motion controls. To see what the majority says.
I think Patrick's gone for now.
I think this is a good stopping point. I think we covered up a lot of topics, and in fact, I think we made a discussion that really can lead into the next show. I'll go post that poll, and I'll go talk to people.
Sweet.
And as I said, I'll go find out what the motion bar actually is for on the Wii U.
Speaking of the boards, I know Jake, who is also a Nintendo fan. I'm sure he will be a good person to have on the show as well. I have him on PS4, and I have messaged him. He's not got back to me about the podcast, but we'll see what we can do with that.
Well, I definitely would like to put something out there. I do have a Reddit account, and I would love for people to contact me there. You guys can catch me at I_IZ_TEH_SHIZ. That's I is to shiz with underscores in it.
The underscore king.
The underscore king, exactly. So if you guys want to hit me up on Reddit, do it there. I'd love to hear from you. I'm on subreddit Wii U, subreddit gaming, subreddit games, subreddit Nintendo, subreddit 3DS, everything, including some things that I probably shouldn't put on this show.
And I just want to say thank you to everyone who has viewed our show. My name's Jay. You can catch me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all NextGenX, Next GENEX. And also make sure you join Next Generation, which is nextgenx.proboards.com. We always have a ton of reviews, ton of movie talk, gaming talk, everything, community-wise. So I hope you guys check that out. And don't forget to click on that subscribe button.
And for Patrick, I'm Sean, V God Mode. Have a nice day.